Well, they're those pearly whites already. Wes, what's going on, brother?
Oh man, I gotta tell you, we are having a mini rack and stack day here on Building Winds. We're lucky enough to have Jim Packard and George Campbell just now, and now we get to talk to leader in the industry of roofing that's barking up your tree in the form of Tats, and we're loving what we do and doing what we love. I mean, you can't beat it.
We are. We're kind of living it, loving it, owning it, right? It's kind of like one of those just perfect days. And I, yeah, this is I was gonna, but I decided to not. But I was thinking about because we're talking about racking and stacking, but this is a mini rack and stack. There's only two today. We've
Just a little one.
a little stack. We've been crazy enough to do five, I think, one day.
Today.
But I was thinking about maybe just breaking into a little ground control to Major Tom. That's the closest thing I had to a traffic control, but that's a rocket ship, not a plane. But that was the best I had.
I don't think we can afford the rights.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Am I in trouble because I just said that, or are we okay still?
I think we'll be okay with saying it, but boy, if we play it, it's gonna
Well,
get dicey quick.
I was going to sing it. Does that count?
I think you might be able to get away with that,
Okay, but we don't want to do that to anybody. So.
And today is Tat's wife's birthday. We are also not going to sing happy birthday to her as a birthday present because
Yes.
we don't want to torture the poor lady.
We do not. And Tats was pretty quick to say he didn't want to either, which means that as bad as we are, I'm guessing he's even worse. So
that's great. That is a far stretch. So he must be bad.
He could have to be bad.
I can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Well, I know. I've been with you when you sang once. It was not pretty. I'm just telling you that right now. Anyway, All right. Well, okay. I know we're enjoying ourselves, but let's go enjoy Tats. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
All right, let's go. See ya. Hey, Tats, how are you, my friend?
Good, Randy. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming. I mean, I'm not even sure after Wes's 3 minutes of stupid that you would even be there. I thought we were just going to see this blank wall. I wouldn't have blamed you. I just took my wife to her birthday early and just said, "There's no chance I'm taking with these guys." But, so,
hey, good game plan.
Yeah, they are good. Every once in a while we have one. So, well, welcome. Anyways, it's a pleasure. We had a great chat the other day, and I think is it next week or the week after sometime you're honoring me to come on and chat with you on your as a specified growth podcast or the Roofer Reflection, one or the other.
Yeah, we got a bunch of different formats for meetings we take. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it also. So you're up in beautiful Vancouver, BC today, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very warm. I just can't complain. I know there's lots of different weather going on, but today it's nice and warm and sunny.
So what's warm and sunny in Vancouver on May 18th? You got to give me Fahrenheit because I don't do Celsius. So I'm not that.
Well, I think it's 80 or 90 somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Wow. So it's a nice day.
Yeah.
So if you quit talking to me, you can take your wife on her birthday out to dinner on the water. What do you think?
There you go. Thanks for the plan.
Okay, I just exposed it to her, so now that's what you're doing. So, anyway, so Tats, you're CEO of Castagra. Say that easy for a host to say, Castagra. If I got that right, or Castagra.
Absolutely.
Okay, close enough. So, give us what in the hell do you guys do? What goes on there? Tell us what goes on at Castagra.
Sure. I mean, we manufacture a line of roof coatings. It's plant-based, high adhesion. We originally didn't think we were going to end up in the roofing industry. My business partner is an inventor type. He invented the Windows Media Player. So invented the ability to watch video on the computer. He sold it to Bill Gates and invented a whole bunch of other things. And
wow.
I just connected with him because I wanted to be an entrepreneur and learn. And I just had the opportunity to do so. And we developed the friendship and a partnership. And I guess sort of meandering paths, but found our way to the roofing industry and what we're doing now.
Well, that's an interesting way of getting there. So all your coatings are plant based. So give us for those that might not know, what's the advantage of that versus more of a I guess we would say chemical based? Is that an accurate? term?
Sure. I mean, there are a few chemicals in it, but basically, castor and gypsum is the main components. And essentially, why we were sort of pulled into the roofing industry with from specifiers and contractors is um, sustainability, or the plant-based aspect of it is, certainly a benefit, but I mean, high performance and being able to do the job is the number one thing. So
Okay.
that was the biggest interest. And I think where we kind of fit in is, there are many products in the roofing industry that are extremely convenient and have a specific purpose. But where there was a gap was in, sort of applications where adhesion was very, very important. And, we have a ton of it. So I think that's where people saw an advantage of what we were doing. And we have other benefits as well, but that's the main one.
Okay. Now your products go into the specific a very specific genre of the roofing industry, say metal or asphalt shingle, or is it all more of a commercial application? Or give me a
Yeah,
little more clue where you go with that.
absolutely. It's more on the commercial
That's
flat
what I
roof
thought.
side, right? And with the different substrates, we do pull test to make sure that there's nothing on it, but we provide a lot of different problem solving options, right? I mean, the roofing industry is a problem solving business, right?
Right.
You show up at the roof. None of these roofs are the same, and then you have to make an assessment of what is the best solution. So we provide another tool for the commercial roofing contractors to problem solve.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So would your product go typically, I'm going to guess, to people that maybe specialize in that type of application, maybe more so than a one-off, I'll try your product on this job, or do you get both?
I mean, I think typically, when you're starting out with a newer product, where the opportunities you get are, hey, look, nothing else has worked.
Hmm.
Before we have to tear this thing off, we're willing to give you a try, or repairs, and then you start to prove yourself in certain areas. And then we start connecting with the right contractors, and then it starts to grow. So I think in the beginning, people are willing to give you a shot when there isn't another option
Right.
that is, and if you can solve their problem, that you build that relationship, and
Sure.
from there, it kind of grows to more of a general use product.
Gotcha. Well, it makes sense. So I know Tats, you're in Vancouver, BC, but is that where the plant's based, or is that based in the U.S.?
I mean, we originally started with a group from Canada, and we decided early on, we won a competition in Canada that was sort of based on the Dragon's Den reality game show with the Kevin O'Leary, Robert Herjavec, just before Shark Tank. So we got 12 million views, but we decided to start the company in the U.S. And that's where the majority of our sort of sales organization and Peter, the inventor, lives as well. But we just decided that that's where the need and the adoption, and
Hmm.
we could make the biggest impact.
Sure. Sure. Well, let's face it. I mean, just from a sheer population standpoint, right? It's tremendously larger base of potential clients, so that would make sense. But you still sell the product in Canada, but your your
Yeah,
effort is in the U.S.
absolutely. Our production, everything, the
Yeah.
company's based.
Yeah.
And yeah, I travel. Not like you do, though, Randy.
I don't know. Sometimes that's too much, but it's a good time. Oh, is that a picture of your plant? Look at that.
That's a roof that we did.
Or
But
that's
yeah,
a
we
roof
did it.
that you did. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
So
Team
that's the
Stig.
kind of projects you guys get involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone's curious, we're if they're curious if there is a fit, then our tech team's pretty good at sort of figuring it out, right? You work with a bunch of manufacturers, right? Problem
Hmm.
solve, right? Let
Right.
us know what your issue is, and maybe we can solve, right? So
Yeah. So we'll typically start with probably an investigative chat via Zoom or Teams or on the phone, and kind of this is what we have, what we're experiencing. Your people probably ask some questions, and there's some back and forth. And at some point, somebody probably has to be boots on the ground. But um, it's it's an easy start because you're probably going to know relatively after a few questions whether you're a fit, maybe not for sure yet, or you're going to know where it's absolutely not a fit, right? That's
Yeah.
probably relatively easy to determine up front, I would think.
I think so. I think,
Yeah.
Randy, you mentioned it as well in terms of the technology, the hybrid, which is, use those initial conversations to, figure out if further investigation is needed, because everyone's time is really valuable, right? So
Right.
you want to make sure that if you're going to go into the effort of setting up the meetings and doing the site visits, everyone's got to come together. So we just got to make sure that it's going to be worth everyone's time.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, we may have touched on this. I don't remember, but when did you guys start the business, Tats?
Yeah, so we started it 13 years ago, but
Okay.
it's the technology actually has been around for 30.
Okay.
And, I mentioned Peter, who's the inventor, invented those other things. He accidentally invented it. Like
Oh.
in the late 80s, there was a lot of homes with curved walls, the high-end homes.
Mhm.
And he had a friend that was in the carpentry trade. And one of the things that would drive him nuts was, the baseboards, for these curved walls or the curved staircases, they'd have to cut the wood into Lego-sized pieces and try to reassemble it without making it look horrible. And it was a nightmare job. And so, Peter's friend came to him and said, "Hey, can you solve this? Right? Can you build something that's flexible? You can drive nails into it, you can paint it." And he hemmed and hawed and took about 6 months, but he came up with a solution, which was, all the criteria that he mentioned. But in the process, he invented a coating. And being the scientist that he is, he started to coat roofs, ships, floors, and he started to do those trials. A little bit of commercialization, and he kind of lost interest. But the benefit was, he got to see it in the field for 20 years at that point. And, as with new coatings or new introductions to the market, even with ones that are done by very, very large companies, primarily lab tested, right? They'll run a battery of 200, maybe 300 tests. But realistically, it takes them about 10 years for them to be really sure that what they have is a winner. And we just happened to be in a situation where we had 20, now 30 as well. So we had a really good idea of what success looked like.
Well, that's pretty. That makes sense to me how that went down. So, you when you got started with Peter, this you didn't, if I'm hearing you right, you didn't necessarily say, I think I want to be in the roof coatings business. That's what I've always lived and grew up and wanted to do. This opportunity's there. He developed this, and you said, hey, let's put A and B together and go see if we can, as a little, this gives me a little bit of my rural upbringing. Let's go make hay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I first met Peter, I didn't have any entrepreneurial experience. I just wanted to learn. So I got introduced through a friend, and I just said, "I'm going to work for you for free. I'm going to photocopy, punch holes, do what it's going to take just to learn of how he's approached commercialization." And we built up a relationship. And the early companies, while we were figuring out what we wanted to do together, because we started to develop a friendship and a partnership, was I helped run a marketing company, or we started a marketing company, which I primarily ran. And that marketing company was help other products commercialize. So about 70% commercial, and the other 30%, industrial and technology related. So I got a lot of reps in launching products and qualifying technologies. And of course, it's not a perfect science, but when I first started, I was quite horrible at it and started to get better and better. And it's always a work in progress, because just when you think you're starting to get good, it humbles you completely. Right. So it's just an ongoing puzzle called business and product development and competition that keeps us all interested.
Well, but you hit right there. That's the interesting part, right? The constant. If you in a perfect world, I suppose, you hit on this thing, you set it up, and it just works like clockwork every day, and that's great, even though it never happens. But it would be a great idea. But you know what? You'd probably get bored of that, right? Because you almost need those. You don't look for problems and you don't want problems. When they come up, it gives you some juice to go find an answer, right?
Yeah. And I think that the transition was, so it was running this company that was launching products and did about over 100 different clients or projects.
Hmm.
And but I started to, in the beginning, I was really excited about the mechanics, right? Like, okay, the trial selling phase, the this, the that, the qualification, and then seeing it on shelves, right? Going from 0 to 2,000 stores or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started to really question what I was helping promoting. Like, does the world need another one of these plastic things? And it didn't happen overnight. It just slowly started to eat away at me. And getting older, having kids, started to think about their futures and stuff like that. And the alignment was off. And I just remembered, years earlier, Peter invented something that he didn't do anything with. So I got him excited about the possibility of creating improvements, looking at new markets, and trying to take a run at changing an industry. And luckily, he was enthused, and we were able to sort of build up a team to do it. But yeah, that's kind of how it started.
That's interesting. So you talked about in an area that's very intriguing to me all the time is marketing. You talked about doing a lot of marketing. Um, that let's spend the next few minutes we got together talking about marketing for a minute and your theories on marketing because it's different in a commercial industrial world, right, than it is to the average everyday consumer trying to figure out whether they should buy Coke or Pepsi, right? It's a whole different concept. What's your advice for people in more of a commercial industrial uh, B2B type business format
Yeah.
with marketing? What's your A, B, C, and D of what we should be looking at?
Yeah, I think, in broad strokes, there's always exceptions. When
Mm-hmm.
you're dealing with consumer products, it's marketing led, sales supported. If you're looking at commercial or B2B, it's sales led, marketing supported, right? And the opportunities that exist are, what can you take from one side and apply it to the other, right? So there's more and more overlap on strategies and things that work on the consumer product side that also work on the commercial side, or what works in another industry in another time that could be brought in. So your base of knowledge of how different industries operate, what campaigns they've run, and how that has worked, and your ability to test that cheaply is probably your competitive advantage.
Okay, so let's go back because that was interesting. So, and I understand what you're saying, but I want to maybe circle back into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, with the consumer market, it tends to be more we'll market the product, and then the sales will come. But in a commercial world, it's a little more like the sales team and what's needed and what has to be there, what the customer wants, the B2B customer wants.
Yeah.
Then we develop the product, and then we need to market the advantages and market it to that customer. So they are, while there's similarities, obviously, and there's
Yeah.
crossover, but I think that's interesting because it's not a one shoe fits all, right? Just because you're in marketing and you were very good at marketing in the consumer part of the world doesn't necessarily mean you can just take whatever you did and bring it over into the consumer part, right? Or
Yeah.
the commercial part, right?
Absolutely. It's very, very complicated. Even having done a lot of the construction side of things and especially the roofing side is very, very nuanced. And that's actually one of the reasons I started one of the podcasts, because I wanted to become a better entrepreneur. I wanted to understand the industry better. And there was no single point where I could just call one person or hire one person and understand it. So I decided to just start to talk to people that had different experiences with it and try to piece together how it all fit together. So that was kind of with Specified, that's kind of how it started. Like, I want to talk to these people anyways. Now, how do I increase my chances of being able to talk to these individuals? And how do I also share what I've done at the same time? So the old recorded Zoom calls, right?
Right.
Concept.
Oh, exactly. And, you know, really it's amazing, and I'm sure, and we talked about, it and you hit on it, the advancement in technology and the ability, excuse me, the ability to do more in a day, the ability to be in touch with and touch more people in a day at a less cost with the combination maybe of technology and person to person, because you roll back before well, we could go back before cell phones, goes way back, but even before all the virtual technology that we have, you couldn't jump on a quick Zoom call and talk to each other, maybe show each other, maybe be on a job site and let me bring you up on live and I'll show you what I'm looking at. All those things, it has got a 10x, 100x, I don't know how many X's, our abilities to perform more efficiently and to more quickly come to a usable solution, I guess I want to say, because what would have took days, weeks, and months, and 12 sales visits and people back and forth and can't catch a flight till tomorrow or next week or whatever, we could really cut that down in a time frame to literally hours or days, right? And that's got to be a huge part of what you've seen over time.
Yeah, I mean that's huge, and I always try to push the boundaries of what's possible with that. And I think over the years I've learned where those are, like what is too far and what
Mm-hmm.
is effective and what not. And I really like your approach because you have this hybrid approach, which is the correct approach, is respecting all of it. All of it is your toolkit, and how do you assemble it to sort of make sense of what works in your situation?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And it's funny. I'm an old school guy, so I was all the old school way. That's the way I built my career. And then during the COVID lockdown world, I had to go all virtual because there was no other choice. And it's one of the best things that's ever happened for me was be able to combine the two. So, and like you just said, there's you can adapt from minute to minute, day to day, customer to customer, situation to situation. Some may literally, because I do a lot of customers in my world that are of the playing community. They don't use technology, maybe at all or very little. So I can't get on a Zoom call with them. Those still have to require my getting on a plane or getting in a car and driving there and setting up and going totally old school. But I've also have a lot of customers now that you don't need to come see me as often. If you don't want, you want to, that's fine. But if we got something, we'll talk on the phone or we'll jump on a Zoom or a Teams or a Google Meet or whatever. and and I really find that if you have a new customer in an area that would take a lot of time, time is money, but time and literal dollars to go see them for may not make sense for either one of us at the end of the day, right? Why don't we attempt to get through that first part at least before we do all that, right? And a lot of that we can determine or make a determination on a on a 30-minute Zoom call, Teams meeting, whatever, that we just might not be a fit for you, or you may not be a fit for us, and no harm, no foul, and we move on and stay in touch. But we can really eliminate a lot of that extra expense and extra time by using technology. But the mistake I think that we don't want to fall into is going all one way or all the other. And that's thus the hybrid. No, I'm not going to come out and see you. I'll just do a Zoom. Well, you got to recognize when the time is right, you need to go have that, the bro hug and the burger and beer in the evening after a meeting, which is still vitally important in most sales situations, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm definitely learn to better do that. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Yep, works well. So I hear, well, I hear because you told us that you have a birthday today. Not you, but your wife does.
Yeah, yeah. So
And you're,
I gotta do a good job.
yeah, you have a job to do. You got to go take care of that. So we should probably let you get out of here so you can do that. Because the last thing I want to do is get you in trouble. Because I don't want to be responsible for you. So we don't want this going haywire. So, any final words? Anything we didn't touch on? You've been very generous with your time today, and it's been great to chat with you. I appreciate your input on a number of things. But we always have a seldom ask or should ask questions. Anything we missed today before we get out of here, Tats, that we should talk about?
No, but I really appreciate what you do. because you said it yourself. You were old school, and you've embraced technology, and you're just leading by example, right? And I think when we get more people within our industry, the roofing industry, onto technology and using it and benefiting from it, I think it could solve some of the problems, right? In terms of recruiting and attracting this industry. So anything that we can do to spread the word, which you are doing, I think will make it better for all of us.
Yeah. Well, very kind, and thank you, and I appreciate all you do, and your two podcasts. You're doing exactly the same thing. So we'll keep on doing the stuff we do, and hope it makes a difference, right?
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you so much.
Well, thanks for being on. Hey, go have a big birthday party. Tell your wife we said happy birthday. If
I
you want
will.
later, you can call me and I'll sing. I'm quite good.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, I'm not really good at all. That was a lie. Yeah, first lie I've ever told you, but that one's a lie. Tats, thank you, my friend.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, cheers. All right, come on. There's any better than Tats. He's a great guy. You love, love, love the guy. Catch his shows, Roofer's Reflection, or Roofer Reflection, it might be, and Specified Growth Podcast. You'll find them both on LinkedIn for sure. I think he's on Facebook and some of the other platforms. He does a nice job with his podcast. He has some great information. And if you're in the commercial industrial roofing genre, check out his products at Castagra. They really do a fine job. So, anyways, that's it for today. I have got to get running. I got some living it, loving it, and owning it to do. And I got to continue loving what I do and doing what I love, because that's what I do. And hey, go make today your best day ever. Until tomorrow. Cheers.